Larry Brooks, before I got to ride for the celebrity thing yesterday, I was going to come by and be an absolute jerk and ask you, how do I not hit the peristyle? Welcome back to the LA Coliseum.
Yeah, I've been dealing with that comment all day. It was something that goes viral, it seems like, every 6 months, but
I saw it a lot this week.
It was part of my racing career, so I guess I have to deal with it. So,
well, let's put it this way. At least you probably got asked about that less than Hayden Deegan or his dad did about Ghost riding the bike, because I know they got asked a lot about that.
Well, I'm older, so they probably don't remember me as much as Brian.
Oh, man, it was a good night for you guys. You guys didn't ultimately come away with the title, but I thought one of the impressive things is, man, Ken's second moto, I could tell you wanted it so bad from the beginning. You guys have been on quite the journey this year. You know, you still got a little bit left with the rest of World Supercross, but I mean, you guys took on a pretty arduous task. You had only joined the team shortly before the Kenny thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you've won championships with some of the absolute best in the sport. I'm sure it's still, no matter what, it's probably been a pretty tough year, but congrats.
No, I'm actually really happy. You know, I didn't really know what to expect when this season started. You know, a lot of people warned me of Ken Roczen, you know, and how difficult he was. But honestly, the guy's been a pleasure to work with. You know, he does his work. He will test from morning to night, and you know, it's been really fun. We had a lot of work to do. I don't think the bike was to his level when we started the season, but you know, we kept working and kept, you know, doing our best, and things kind of turned around, and he made our bike look really good on the track.
For you, I know you're such a tinker. To what point this season did you really start to feel confident, like, okay, I feel like I've delivered him, you know, what he needs? So is there a certain point in the season you guys felt like you kind of made a breakthrough?
So I think we're in a pretty good spot right now. I'm never really satisfied. You know, if he has one comment about the bike, I feel like I need to keep working on it. And I think we're pretty darn close as far as, you know, the overall setup. But there's always little things, you know, things I don't want to really talk about, but things that I need to improve on the bike for him. I think if we can make our bike a little bit better, I think that Ken can win, you know, and he showed it tonight. I mean, he was about to win that main event, and, you know, he got kind of bunched up with a lap rider, but, you know, that's part of the race, you know, and we need to be a little smarter than that, but it definitely took the ending away, but it happens. But I think he rode the bike well. He's happy with the bike, so I think everyone on the team has done a great job, and I'm pretty proud of our team and Ken himself.
Kenny, of course, is his own man, but I mean, you've worked with, again, at the most highest level. The most notable would be McGrath, James, Chad Reed, those guys. Who does Ken remind you of the most of?
I mean, each of them have their own aura, you know. Kenny has his own thing, and he's a guy that wows me every time he gets on the bike, kind of like James Stewart did, you know. Your mouth kind of drops open, you're like, holy crap, how'd they do that, you know? And anyone that has raced and watches these guys ride, they just get blown away at the ability that they have and what they can do on a motorcycle, because you know how difficult it is. But you know, I try not to compare people, and I think Kenny's his own guy, and he's definitely one of the top guys that I've worked with, you know, and as far as his family life and his riding ability and everything, I think they're all at the highest level. So I think I'm fortunate to be able to work with him, and he's in a really good spot right now, and it just gets better and better every race.
So last question for you. You have run private operations, you've run full factory teams, you run private teams that basically use factory equipment all the way through. How does it compare for your situation here now at HEP? Again, you guys are labeled as the factory Suzuki entity, but you're a very private operation. You guys have a lot of flexibility on whatever you basically want to do. Again, I know you're a tinker, so I know you like to play with stuff. How do you feel with this situation, the freedom you have? Do you ever miss at times the factory information, or do you feel like you're in a really good spot?
You know, my goal this year, even before Kenny came on the team, was to make that 450 into a winning motorcycle. the thing is, no matter how good you make a motorcycle, you need a rider that can ride it. So I think that I was very fortunate to have a guy like Ken Roczen that would ride it. But I think the motorcycle is in a really good spot. It's super production based. You know, a lot of the parts are production. I just mixed and matched a lot of things with the other models and made something that worked for him. You know, Kyle Chisholm did a lot for our team, you know, a lot of the testing and made the motorcycle, put it in a good spot. He was my test guy, should I say. And he did a lot of the base settings for Ken. And I'm pretty happy with the bike. I think it's really good. I think I still need to improve it. You know, I think Suzuki's stepping up a little bit next year, and they're going to help me. And, you know, with their knowledge and the parts that they build over there in Japan, I think we're going to have a really good motorcycle next year. I mean, the bike is identical next year, you know, the base model. And I think it's going to be really good as far as me being able to roll into next year and take a lot of the knowledge that I had this year and then a lot of the parts that Japan is promising us and that we already ordered. So, you know, it should be good. I'm pretty excited for next year.
Actually, I have one more for you. I'm guessing having Kenny really much to push development. I know you would have had probably a game plan when you signed up to do this. Again, what you said, you wanted to make the bike into a winning bike. However, I'm sure getting Kenny, it was a cool opportunity to get him, but I'm sure for you there was a little bit of stress of, okay, I don't have the year to build the winning bike and then go get the guy. I got to do both at once. But again, it sounds like Kenny, with the amount of hours he's willing to put in, it probably helped you elevate the bike situation even faster.
Yeah. I was pretty scared actually when they said, hey, we got a chance to hire Ken Roczen. I was like, oh my gosh, don't do that. You know, like,
again, you've been there, done that with some big names. You know what it takes.
Yeah, I've worked with some high level guys and I know the amount of work that they are. And you know, each of them take a lot of work. I mean, not that it's hard, but they need certain things with the motorcycle to do their job. And I knew what a chore it was going to be. And it definitely ended up being that chore. I mean, but my crew, Ken himself, I mean, everyone worked their butts off. So I think in the end, we proved that the Suzuki is a winning motorcycle. It was challenging for the championship and all the championships. So, you know, I'm excited for next year to see kind of what comes of it and what improvements we can make, if we can make any at all, you know. And I always kind of I probably think of the negative more than I do the positive because, you know, I just want it to be as good as possible. And I want to be as good for him so he can do his job as easy as possible. So, yeah, we'll see what happens next year. But, you know, definitely we proved that the Suzuki is a motorcycle that can race for the championship.